Hare Krishna. So Krishna is going to give us the topmost knowledge, which is the topmost knowledge amongst the knowledge of Prakriti and Jiva. So this knowledge Krishna is glorifying in Shloka number 1 and 2. So we have seen the first Shloka, now let's see the second Shloka. Idam jnanam upashritya mama sardhamyam agataha sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. So here Krishna is saying, idam jnanam upashritya. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, or by taking shelter, upashritya, of jnanam, this knowledge, mama sardhyam agataha. So what happens because of this? Sadharmyam. Mama sadharmyam. So one attains the transcendental nature as that of the Lord. And then, sarge api na upajayante, and such a person does not take birth at the time of creation, and pralaye na vyathanti cha, and also does not get disturbed at the time of dissolution or pralaya. So here it is said that anyone who attains or anyone who takes shelter of this knowledge that Krishna is going to give in this particular chapter, few things are going to happen. First, such a person attains the transcendental form like that of Krishna. It means he'll go back home, back to Godhead. So that also means he will never take birth in this world. But when he's there in this world, before going back home, back to Godhead, he will not get disturbed by the pralaya or the annihilation that takes place. So Krishna is saying that so focus and tries to understand this knowledge that I am giving. Here it is said that after acquiring perfect transcendental knowledge, one acquires qualitative equality with Supreme Personality of Godhead, becoming free from repetition of birth and death. So we all are eternal. We all are part and parcel of Krishna, and we are eternal. Soul does not have birth, soul does not have death. So this particular knowledge that Krishna is giving, if we understand this, then we will understand that how we are qualitatively we are one with Krishna. But unfortunately, we are stuck here under the three modes of material nature. This is the realization this chapter is going to give all of us. Now here there is something called as liberation that is spoken about. The person breaks the cycle of birth and death and he goes back home, back to Godhead. Now there are some misconceptions here. People feel that once I get liberated, I will have no existence in the spiritual world. I'll just mix with the existence of the Lord. This is what people feel. But the fact is that when a person gets liberated, it is like the green bird entering the green tree. So when the green bird enters the green tree, does it mean that the green bird and tree have become one? No. The green bird remains the green bird in the tree. So we are entering the spiritual realm. We are spiritual living entities. We are spiritual entities. Spiritual individuals. So when we enter the spiritual realm, the spiritual world, we remain individuals. So Krishna is an individual, he is a person, and we all are individuals. And when we go to spiritual world, we attain the same form as that of Krishna, the spiritual form. And we continue rendering service to Lord Sri Krishna in the spiritual world and participating and assisting Krishna in his various wonderful pastimes which keep happening every single day, at every single moment. So in this way we understand it very clearly that when we get liberated, we still retain our individual identity. And with that individual identity, we serve Lord Krishna, and that service that we render to Lord Krishna makes us completely blissful within, all the time. So it is said that in spiritual world there is no question of distress, because the person is always with Krishna, serving Krishna in his individual original identity. It is said that generally in the material world, whatever knowledge we get is contaminated by the three modes of material nature. Any knowledge that we get, any person who is speaking something, from his own understanding, from his own perception, it's contaminated. Why? Because the person is under three modes of material nature. So what he speaks, what he writes, that's all contaminated by three modes of material nature. So the knowledge that Krishna is giving is very special. Why? Because it is not contaminated with three modes of material nature. Why? Because Krishna is not contaminated with three modes of material nature. So the knowledge that Krishna is giving is free from three modes of material nature. So it is called as transcendental knowledge. So this knowledge is pure. This knowledge is not contaminated. And then also here it is said, those who have no knowledge of spiritual sky hold that after being freed from material activities of the material form, this spiritual identity becomes formless, without any variegatedness. However, just as there is material variegatedness in this world, in the spiritual world there is also variegatedness. This is another misconception which people have. Oh, I get liberated and I'll become formless. No, we will have our original form in the spiritual world. And another thing that people feel is, oh, there's so much of variety in this world and that is the reason we are bound. So when we go to spiritual world, there will be no variety. So that is another misconception. If there is variety in spiritual world, then only there will be variety in material world. Why? The material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. If there is no variety in spiritual world, then how can we see variety in material world? So here it's very important to understand that we will retain our form, our individuality, and there will be lots of variety, or there is lots of variety in spiritual world. So here it is said, in spiritual sky one attains a spiritual form and there are spiritual activities, and spiritual situation is called devotional life. Currently we are leading a material life, and when we attain our spiritual form, we will live a devotional life. That atmosphere is said to be uncontaminated, and there is one is equal in quality with the Supreme Lord. To obtain such knowledge, one must develop all spiritual qualities. One who thus develops the spiritual qualities is not affected either by creation or by the destruction of the material world. Basically, to practice spirituality, because only by practicing spirituality or devotional service, one will develop all the qualities, all the wonderful transcendental divine qualities. But then to practice devotional service, one needs knowledge about devotional service. And this knowledge is given by the spiritual master. So it's very important that we all sadhakas, we have to accept a spiritual master and we have to serve the lotus feet of the spiritual master by following the instructions that he gives. And when we do that, and when the spiritual master is pleased, he gives the knowledge. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. He gives the knowledge within the heart. This knowledge is not theoretical. This will be the knowledge which is realized. So it's very important that we keep doing our sadhana, but this sadhana has to be done under the guidance of the spiritual master, and every word spoken by the spiritual master has to be taken very, very seriously. That's how we'll advance in spiritual life. And that's how we'll attain the ultimate destination. And before attaining the ultimate destination, when we are there under the shelter of the spiritual master, we'll not be disturbed about anything that happens in this world which is negative. And second thing that will happen is, the person attains the ultimate destination, and now there is no question of taking birth again. So after glorifying very nicely in the two verses, now Krishna is going to speak about the relationship between the Prakriti, material nature, Jiva, that is all of us, the individual souls, and he himself. So let's see this in the next video. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna